Okay, I'm gonna do this quick. What I wanted to do was do categorize videos on the tactics that these gang stalkers use. Now, I need the help of other TIs as well. What I want, and I'm gonna try to find it. I don't know if it's in this article. I don't know, but what I want to find out is the lawful source codes that are specifically put in place for these crimes that they're doing specifically. This documentation is one thing, but knowing the actual codes to what's going on is what you need to prove your case in the court of law. And to prove, what's going on. It's one thing if you just tell a person, but when you can actually, show them your evidence and show the codes in the book of law as to what they are doing, then people will understand that what they are doing and see what they're doing through your you know through your documentation, that what they're doing is highly fucking illegal, even though obviously it is. Anyway, let's continue. Stop organized gang stalking, and you can see the abbreviation at the bottom. Intro to color harassment. As you can see, the guy running down the street in the blue, and that's normally what they do. They'll run, they'll walk, and they'll do or even just do this specifically for your line of vision to see, and it's a form of sensitization. Privacy, yeah, close and accept whatever. Perp colors, sensitization of target to colors, all rainbow colors from the. Why am I not surprised? But I have nothing against people who are like that. I just don't agree people with enforcing their sexuality on anybody. I don't even care what your sexuality is. You have no right to be enforcing yourself on anybody, or your statistics on anybody. If there's something wrong with that, God's gonna deal with that. Okay, that's usually how I state it out, and then I just leave it alone and leave it at that. But these perps. But I'm starting to wonder about that. Like, I don't think they have any dignity, because you gotta understand, like, that they're doing something disgusting like that in public where everybody can see. And I remember watching a video on Nappy Head's channel, and a dude who he was talking to, a perp, was just telling him the truth about everything, right? And he said that the people who do that disgusting shit are the fuck ups. So, I mean, they may be being paid, but like, dude, how do you go back to, if you got a woman, like, how do you go back to her after degrading yourself like that, man? Like, you just really, I mean, why not just take your manhood and then just, I don't know, your manhood card, and just throw it right up in the fucking garbage? Why don't you get it over with? But sheesh, I don't know. That's just my perspective about that, man. Like that, when a person does something like that, that's to me, like, that's what they're doing. Um, and it doesn't even matter what your sexuality is. It's not so much as your sexual identity. It's a pride thing. It's more of a sense of dignity type of thing. When you undignify yourself like that, regardless of your sexuality, you see, that's what I'm getting at. It's more of a self-respect type of thing. But anyway, let's continue. Any neon fluorescent colors, neon hot pink and neon green, most popular. Any color combos from the U.S. flag, red, white, and or blue. Organized gang stalking sensitizes their victims to certain colors, patterns, styles to make them believe they are followed everywhere they go, and everyone is in on it. Everyone is not on it. Again, we outnumber them, but this whole thing that they're constructing is an illusion. Understand? They come at you in packs, and it's to make you believe that everybody is involved when it's not. There are people who are amongst them who are probably working for them, but who are not fully, involved. And then there's people who are not involved. And then there's the people who are fully aware and fully involved. And that's the statistics of the situation. Anyway, let's continue. I was sensitized to color harassment on 6/19/12. 3 days after I discovered organized gang stalking on a Google search and realized I had already been stalked for years, there is a 1.5 mile walking trail near my house. It is a loop that surrounds an expensive housing development and passes a golf course. I have been walking on it for about 3 years. I was first sensitized to a neon colors. A woman passed me jogging in neon pink shorts. Another passed me wearing neon green shoes. Another passed me in a hot pink sweater, then neon blue shoes, and so on, including dogs with neon collars and leashes. I would pass someone wearing neon every few minutes. It was not coincidental, and I had never experienced this on the trail before. It persisted for my entire walk. CA 2020. Okay, Louisiana launches new policy for car use less than 50 miles a day. Oh shit, she's in Louisiana. Or so I'm guessing. As the days and weeks passed, I would see these colors everywhere. They eventually added bright turquoise, purple, bright green, bright blue, bright orange, bright yellow, brown, and combination of red, white, and blue. Now here's the thing: when people see, video footage of things, of what's going on, and I actually got this from The Incredibles too, and I love the way the bastard fucking the way that they introduced this idea. You see, when people look on the news, when people looked at the video feeds and stuff like that from the nearby cameras and stuff, they don't see what you're going. They don't see specifically what's going on from your point of view, right? But it's a whole nother scenario when they do see it from your point of view, because it shows specifically what's happening. And with them able to see things, from your perspective, and not from a bystander's perspective, which would be the local security cams. And sometimes the security cams do catch evidence that can be used for these situations. But they need to see it from your perspective. When they can see it from your perspective, then it becomes more and more clear. With that done, now you understand how they're able to discredit a lot of shit, is because they don't see it from your point of view. They see it from a bystander's point of view, which would be the local security cams. And which will also, these perps, they also try to use stuff to their point of view. Guess what? To set you up. My evidence from that McDonald's incident, that's proof of that. Now notice, if you look, again, I want you to look at that video, and as soon you see what they did, right? How they acted out, and then they swerved around the building, and then they parked. They didn't leave, they parked. I took the first initiative by walking away, and then I stopped, right? But I had did what was necessary to protect myself, right? Now, as they stopped, you see the guy immediately going up to his friend, and you see that he was filming. He was filming from his point of view. But he's on the inside, so you can't hear what's going on the outside. You want to know why? Because he doesn't want the audio on it. He didn't want that audio on it. And he definitely didn't want me catching them, in the act of the exchange after the deed was done. Once the guy, approached me, I was like, you know what, man, I'm like, get away from me. I'm not talking to you, right? So I walk in the building. I exited myself out of the situation. He walks in. Miraculously, at the same time this happens, the parent in the area just so happens to say, well, like, he's doing this. No, buddy. No. That was not what I was doing. The only thing that I was doing at the time was trying to upload a vid that was completely not related to any of them. That's what I was doing. Now, you want to know what they were doing? There was random inappropriate gestures to the area where I was at. I ignored it. And it was a constant thing. Now, when I tried to do a voiceover for the vid, I got I literally got blindsided by the staff who just started to speak out. Guess what? They were perps too. My evidence will prove that as well, as far as the audio logs that are on the Mischievous M's channel. And you can hear the staff lady admit she called the police. You can hear the staff lady, as soon as the officer leaves the building, stating that, that after she gave, after he left out, how she gave her statement that she don't know those people, but it was a different situation when he left out the room, the restaurant. All of a sudden, her whole persona changed. Her whole, things that she was saying changed, and the story changed. So therefore, she lied on her statement. And if you, listen to the audio feed of that later on, you also hear the officer try to say, well, like, she told him that she called the police. But he's trying to come up to me and say, well, I called. No, dude, I didn't call you. I did not. And he tried this 2 or 3 times. I know he tried it 3 times. The first 2 times I said no. The third time, I didn't even bother saying anything because it wasn't even worth it at that point because I know what he was doing. It's a tactic that police will use. They will fuck with you like that to try to see if you will change your story. The best thing you could ever have against some shit like that is patience. I know it's not easy, but you need that. You need to learn how to be patient and understand that when they fuck around like that, that's giving you evidence. That's giving you evidence of them fucking with you. So go ahead, give them that time. Give them all that time, because understand that they are incriminating themselves the entire time that they are doing that. So don't be afraid to just sit there for about a good, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 hours, because again, that's going to be the evidence that you need to actually think about it from this perspective. That's going to be evidence you can use to basically end this shit so the stalking doesn't happen anymore. Because, you've already proven your case that it has happened. If it continues to happen, guess what? They're going to have to pay out the ass because of the shit that they're doing. That's the point where it's going to get to, but they don't want it at that point. If one little thing happens, do not be rushful to report it. Do not be rushful to do anything. Just do your documentation. You can upload whatever you need to as far as the evidence online. All TIs can pose as witnesses for TIs. Understand that we all can pose witnesses for each other when it comes to this. Now then, other than that, and oh wow, if that's kind of funny. If you notice that little box thing up the top, that showed that I was out of storage, but strangely, this thing, I know I had enough storage, but strangely, this thing kept going, and all of a sudden, it just disappeared. You see what I'm getting at? But yeah, man, like, that's the thing. You need to understand every detail of what they're doing, every specifics and statistics of the things that are being done. All of this is the evidence you need to put a stop to it. So if they're taking about a good 2 to 3 hours of your time and they are perping you, get that evidence, man. Get that damn evidence. Because understand this, compare those 3 hours to 3 days literally freed from this bullshit. And yeah, that's a lot of time. And that's in my opinion, that's definitely worth it. So when they act out, I don't freaking I'm not gonna get upset, no, because you wanna know something? I'm waiting for them to slip up. That's all I'm doing. I'm just taking my time, waiting for them to slip up, and when they do, I got them. But you see, I'm not the type of person who would just go at it like immediately. No, I've done this twice, right? And and this is how you teach a narcissist a lesson. You get the evidence you need that they don't want you to have, right? What I did was I waited. I waited until they had a sense of calmness, right? I waited until they calmed down. I let them get that self-reprieve, and that's why when in the video, like with before I uploaded McDonald's incident, you would hear me say, well, like I wasn't sure of what, like, legally whether I should post this online. You want to know what happened after that? The One of my gang stalkers was a female, and she was talking to the same dude on her phone. On her phone. No joke. And she was going like, well, like she watched my vid, and not just her, but him too. And they were sitting there going like, well, like since he puts it that way, you got nothing to worry about. Bitch, you should not have tipped me off like that. The minute after that happened, bam, uploaded. Uploaded. Because this, in fact, I didn't even do it that very day. I waited after a little while after that. That's how I do. That's sometimes how, not all the time. That's one of my tactics, though. What I like to use. I like to give them a sense of calmness and then strike out of nowhere. Because you want to know why? It'll basically send a message to them. Do not fuck with me, because if I fuck with you back, it's gonna be 10 times stronger. And I've already proven this many different times. I don't think the police are really gonna fuck around too much though. They'll do like the loud shit from time to time, but I don't think they want a direct conversation with me. Because if you would have heard or seen that video, or actually listened to the audio log, I caught an officer lying. Why would an officer why would an officer of the sheriff's department have to lie? Not just once, but 2 or 3 times. You know? Why would they have to do that? I wonder. Now here's the other thing. I even gave them a warning too. Are you? And I did it, and I did it in a very subtle and respectful way. And I was basically like, "Sir, let me stop you there for a minute. Are you sure you want to submit that report the way that it is? Are you sure?" Because I told him precisely what the lady who we was getting the statement from, what she did. And as soon as he walked out the store, right? I mean, not the store, but the restaurant, right? So I told him that she dropped the name that was related to the people who was doing this bullshit. And I also told him that she wasn't the one who told him to leave out the store. It was a dude who told him to leave out the store. And I was basically just spilling the beans on all of that shit. So this is what I'm getting at, where gang stalkers don't trust each other, man. They don't, because they do fuck up. They do have miscommunications at times, and it fucks with their operations, and it's sloppy as hell. You gotta understand, these individuals, man, like they're not the brightest of the bunch, and when you know how to and this is justified, by the way. This isn't criminalized exploitation. This is justified exploitation, because they are exploiting every ounce of your life that they possibly can get away with. So give a little karma. They can't blame you for that, man. Like I'll be like, what? You getting pissed off at me? Fuck that, man. You assholes are tormenting me, harassing me on the daily fucking basis. I can't even have a single laugh from here on in. Please, man. Anyway, I'm getting off a topic. Let's continue the article. As the days and weeks passed, I would see these colors everywhere. They eventually added bright turquoise. Yeah, I've already read that. They also frequently wear checked plaid Madra's shirts or shorts, Hawaiian shirts, any stripes and animal prints, polka dots, American flag patterns, jeans rolled up to the knees with high-heeled black sandals, maxi dresses, men's bathing trunks with wide colored darts on the sides. Not sure what brand this is. The Vader sunglasses, secretary style reading glasses, sunglasses with white or neon colored. You see, when you allow too much stuff to like bother you, they will just use that. They'll just continue to use it. So you got to be careful, man. Even her naming this off, it puts us as witnesses to her targeting, but at the same time, she's taking more of a risk with this. So yeah, unfortunately, that part right there, when it comes to sensitization, that acts as a double-edged sword. Yes, we act as witnesses to what's going on, but they're going to use it more often. But as you know, the more often they use it, the more often they keep incriminating themselves, which is like why they like to do it in shifts. They're not going to have the same person just show up every 5 to 6 to 7 to 10 minutes on you of every day. Of course not. They do this in shifts. And this happens several days prior to after the first incident. They just so happen to show up again in the vicinity of where you're at doing the same exact shit. But you see, that still implies harassment. It doesn't matter whether there's a gap. The only thing that matters is what are they doing? And the things of what they are doing, is it the same every time you have an encounter with this individual? And the fact that there's multiple people involved in multiple locations, that shows that there's something fishy going on. Anyway, let's continue. Under Armour brand clothing. Okay, I'm just gonna say this here. Under Armour actually has some really decent clothing, but yeah, that's fucked up that they're using that. Anyway, clothing camouflage print straw boulder hats with short rims and anything with San Diego Chargers Bolts logo. Also, a lot of tattoos, sleeve and cuff tats, very common in neck line yards. Crocked tops, lace tops, tie-dyes, croc shoes, Caucasian style loafers or dark brown New Balance hiking shoes for men, flip-flops and high heels frequently worn for noise harassment, dash gold clogs for women, jeans with one leg rolled up. You see, I actually, there's another way we can play these tactics against them, you know? And, when I see certain things, right, that they'll try, if they try something new, I'm just like, maybe the person just decided to do that. Maybe the person just decided to wear that. Maybe they just, I don't know, maybe they just didn't want this or just didn't want that and decided just to leave it there. I look at the hobby, I look at the perspectives for this, and because of me doing that, it provides a clarity, which, will provide a doorway from desensitization. And I recommend all TIs to use that. Crocked tops, lace tops, tie-dyes, croc shoes. Yeah, I already read that. Bright orange or yellow safety vest everywhere. Anyone who has an excuse to wear one will don one. Some will just wear it as part of their costume. If this sounds like things you would usually see ordinary people wear, including myself, you are right. This is where the mind fuck comes in. The difference is they will flood the area you are in with these colors, brands, styles of dress to the point where it is conspicuous. So when I am taking a stroll down the 101 highway and a cluster of people wearing neon red, turquoise purple, and yellow clothing passes me continuously over a span of 40 minutes, I know they are perps. Their aim is to do anything possible to distract and harass you without touching you, with frequency and duration. Everywhere you go, the colors are worn by infants, children, teens, men, women, elderly. The colors are worn by receptionists, therapists, doctors, local public officials, road crews, restaurant workers, churchgoers, union representatives, co-workers, school teachers, and so on. This morning I took a walk while I waited for an oil change on my car, and unfortunately they're gonna fuck with her car. I saw this jogger C-Pick coming up behind me on the sidewalk. I got off the sidewalk to avoid him as he is wearing a perp color. You know what I'm gonna do? Because there's a lot of TIs having issues with their cars. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a playlist on vehicle workmanship. And what's gonna be in this playlist is how to change every single part and fix every single part in your car, as well as how to identify said part. Now, when it comes to an issue, all you gotta do when you see the playlist, it'll say the sound. Let's say like broken broken regulator. You'll be able to find out about that broken hydraulics. You'll be able to listen to the sound of that, and then you can identify it. Because I remember my dad, he tipped me off on something a long time ago, and and it was a good trait. You can identify what is wrong with your car by the sound it makes. You can literally identify what is wrong with your vehicle by the sound it makes. So I think that's a good trait to have, or to definitely have, because at least that way you'll know precisely what's wrong. And actually, this will save you a shit ton of money because you won't even have to pay no fucking mechanic or technician to fix the shit. Because they may be a perp looking to fuck with your stuff to charge you more money. Besides, even if you're not a TI, they're fucking with you anyway. I already know, and a lot of people this has been all over the news on how like they were fucking with people when it came to this, to where like they would fix something, but they would also fuck something up in the long run just to get you to come back and for them to keep making money on you. And guess what? Did you know that two different auto shops can be owned by the same person? Two different companies, but the money is still being raked in by a single individual. I bet a lot of people didn't know that. But they also hire people to actually, just act as what, you know how you will have a profile pic? They'll have a person acting as a profile picture just to hide the real owner's face, just so they don't get busted with what they're doing. And this revolves around like local businesses, on how like they're not allowed to just constantly raise their prices and shit. Yeah, especially all of them, because then that gets to that goes right to the legal aspects of the situations. But this isn't what that article's about. Anyway, it says here this. Yeah, an oil change on a car. I saw the jogger see Pitt coming up behind me on the sidewalk. I got off the sidewalk to avoid him, as he is wearing a perp color. He got off the sidewalk right after he passed me, so he could run right in front of me. Not only do they want you to see them, they want to rub your face in it. I've seen some of them repeat the same gestures over and over and over again obsessively to ensure that I took notice. Many of them do not have a shred of self-control. The perps have placed, and you see that self-control thing, I actually use that to my advantage. Even if they do have self-control, I know how to fuck over that shit easily. The perps have placed the American flag everywhere in the forms of flags and stickers of all citizens on houses, cars, trucks, buses, storefronts, restaurants, office buildings, medical buildings, in churches and schools, on business cards and clothing. And that's it for the article. It didn't have what I wanted to know, though. And what I wanted to know is if there was a law in place meant for this specific action. Because as you know, harassment within itself is illegal. It is. So there would have to be categorized areas within the harassment that law is protecting, the victimized citizen from. There would have to be. There would have to be like many forms of harassment, such as vocal harassment, physical harassment. What else? Harassment of race, harassment of color, discrimination, all kinds of stuff. It would have to be. But you see, here's the deal. It doesn't count unless the person is talking to you directly, saying that directly to you. So unless they're doing that, it doesn't count as harassment. However, if you're just so happen to be in a situation to where the same thing is being mentioned everywhere you go, And it's not just anything, it's the specific ones, the specific things that are being said precisely everywhere in your presence. Now, how would you know to take evidence of such a thing in advance? No one can see into the future, and no one is has telekinesis. No one is psychic. Okay, well, I don't know how far that goes. Maybe, maybe not. There's a whole lot of crap around about this world that we are don't even know. Hell, for all we know, magic might actually exist, and they would just been keeping it from us, just like they've been trying to flood, religions, um, up for years with false prophets to try to keep us from the real religion. Um, and though. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and submit this now. This is it's TI Strategy Guide. If you want to check this out for yourself, I'm going to leave a link in the description. And yeah, with that, I'm over and out.